off the one and only Vice Governor debate, I'm joined by famed journalist Joe Scarpa, who had a front row seat as Johann Donwitz and David Phillips debated the issues. Mr. Scarpa, thank you for joining me.
Well, Carrie, thank you for having me.
Joe, what an honor to moderate this historical meeting. So tell us, what are your first impressions of both candidates?
Well, Carrie, I think the biggest takeaway that the voters should get from this debate is how focused on the citizens of San Andreas Vice Governor David Phillips was. The vice governor stayed on message, and he really focused on how he and Governor Nadar were making the state of San Andreas safer and more prosperous. Now, that being said, the former mayor, Johann Danwitz, he's just riddled with corruption, and he never really took responsibility for his actions. But he really just did a lot more deflecting and acting as the victim. Now, when Vice Governor Phillips was posed with those exact same questions regarding his legal troubles, he did take full responsibility and faced those headwinds head on. I don't think there could be a more clear and decisive winner in this debate.
Mm-hmm. And there were times in the debate where Vice Governor Phillips seemed off message and was looking for a lifeline from you. Do you believe you moderated this debate fairly and didn't pick a side?
Oh wow. Okay, I'm surprised that that's what you took away from the debate, Carrie. Very surprising. If you listen closely to both candidates and really focus on their words, I just don't know how anyone could come away from this debate with anything close to your perception. Mayor Danwitz, right? Although he seemed polished, articulate, and confident, but that doesn't change the issues that were brought up, nor does it change the challenged history that the former mayor brought upon himself. I didn't need to give a lifeline or pick sides in this debate. The history of both gentlemen, whether it be their legal trouble or their leadership, was very clear, and I can assure you, Vice Governor Phillips didn't need any help from me.
Mayor Donwitz and the vice governor spent a lot of time defending their past actions, trying to pass blame on the FIB. Why didn't you push both men a little further on their legal troubles?
Honestly, Carrie, to me, that was a settled argument, right? Mayor Danwitz, he was found guilty 16 times by a jury of his peers. Now, while Vice Governor Phillips faced his execution accusations, if you would, head on, he made no apologies or excuses for his wrongful arrest. Had Mayor Danwitz not received a full pardon from then Governor Jack Lamb, I really don't believe this would have been an election issue. But here we are.
Now, Joe, you have to admit that the former mayor was honest and prepared for this debate, while the sitting vice governor seemed uncertain and somewhat ill prepared.
Well, Carrie, I couldn't disagree more. As I said earlier, and if you listen closely, right, Mayor Danwitz is a great public speaker, right? He truly believes in the message that he's conveying. Now, the vice governor is, in many ways, not as polished as a public speaker as the former mayor is. Vice Governor Phillips with his ahs and his ums, which drives a moderator nuts sometimes, right? Um, and though at times it can make, Mr. Phillips difficult to listen to in this setting, it should not be the determining factor to the voters. If this election was only about articulating the campaign message, Mayor Danwitz, right, 100% is the winner. But this election is much more than that. Actually, tenfold more. And it's up to the voters to listen to the candidates' words, but most importantly, their vision for San Andreas, not just how those messages were articulated and delivered.
Mr. Scarpa, what is your final takeaway from the debate, and what do you think the citizens of San Andreas should focus on while making their final decision when it comes to voting for vice governor?
You know, Carrie, obviously, to me, the final decision really rests in the voters' hands. But from my vantage point, right there with those two gentlemen, this decision really couldn't be simpler. One of these men has a history of corruption, and one of these men has a proven track record of putting San Andreas first. I'll leave the final decision up to the voters as it should be for them to draw their own conclusion. But to me, there was a clear winner in this debate, and the clear winner in who the citizens of San Andreas should elect as their vice governor.
You heard it. Joe Scarpa, thank you for joining me.
Carrie, it was a pleasure. Thank you as well.